family outgrew the farm. So a couple of brothers and cousins kicked off a little construction company that became BZI. So who we are today, BZI, it's about community. And that's what excites me about seeing all of you here with us. From our humble roots from Burl, Utah, we're now based out of Cedar City here. We've grown from an idea to a $350 million a year enterprise. We're driving close to $50 million a year in payroll into our communities. We have employees from all over the nation. The purpose of the entity, we've come to define it as to drive high-value opportunities to our team members. So we really focus on the company culture, creating an environment that's inviting, and creating opportunities of growth for team members. Much of our team has grown from within the organization, been very little hiring of key leadership roles outside of those that have grown up with us. So kind of a few thoughts here. High value employment opportunities. We see that as what can we do for the individual and what can we do together collectively as a team. We adopted the motto of teamwork, innovation, and action to set the pace for the company culture. So some of the entities that are part of our BZI family of companies, you see it on the signs as you come in here: Visco, Commerce Crossroads, RailSync. Our vision for Iron County is to create a place that is current, vibrant, and sustainable. We define current as keeping pace with technology and trends that shape the built environment in our community landscape. We define vibrant as a focus on quality of life, bright and nature-filled spaces with well-balanced, healthy environments. And we define sustainable as building on a foundation of sustainable principles, not just clean energy, but more deeply creating environments that stand the test of time, giving our children and grandchildren economic opportunity that does not compromise the quality of life that drives all of us to southern Utah. So, a few notes of appreciation here. First, I wanted to extend thanks to our 750 team members and industry partners working from the East Coast to the West Coast, bringing back the future of American manufacturing and products and services that contribute to a higher quality of life for millions of people. I wanted to thank Governor Cox for working to strengthen Utah's economy with responsible and sensible policy that supports business growth and respects hardworking men and women and their families. So thank you. I wanted to thank our state legislators for the role you play in support of developing and implementing good government and healthy policies. And I wanted to thank the Utah Inland Port Authority team and Ben Hart for your work in facilitating the programs that have been provided by our state leadership. Thank you to the Iron County Commissioners, Mike Blake, Marilyn Wood, Paul Cousins, for your integrity and leadership in making Iron County an exceptional place to live and work. And thank you to Mayor Garth Green and the City Council members for providing city. Oh, sure. Here we're good. Did I take that? You good? All righty. So, once again, thank you, Mayor Green, for providing city and local leadership consistent with the spirit of America and our glorious Constitution. So, last but not least, and most importantly, I want to express gratitude for the grace of God in giving us freedom and agency and for granting capacity and opportunity for all of us today. So thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I want to echo James' welcome out here to Commerce Crossroads. This started for me a couple of years ago now, and it's pretty incredible to see where this has come since the beginning of this project. You have to be able to solve problems. And part of BZI's success story is their ability to provide solutions as a company and to provide solutions to those we work for. So Commerce Crossroads began out of that as BZI. And what we found is we would have to rail steel to Salt Lake City and Phoenix to then have it transported via truck to Cedar City. So what you see behind us now is a solution to that problem. So we set out to find property on the rail. We thought we needed 40 to 80 acres for what we were planning for our expansion. And we ended up with 820 acres. Because what we found is when there's problems in business and there's problems in the world, our problems usually are shared problems for other people in the region. So we thought, why not just bring steel into Cedar? Why don't we open up a transload facility that has been missing from Cedar City, Iron County, for 45, 50 years, to be able to get railed products into this area unless you own a facility that's specifically on the rail. So that's why Commerce Crossroads. That's how this came to be. What does Commerce Crossroads have to offer? It's a quality of life we all experience here in southern Utah, in rural Utah. There's a quality of life to be had here, a good place to raise families, a good place to grow up. There's a quality workforce. We have a great university here in Cedar City. We have trade schools. We have hardworking farm community people that know how to work and know how to get things done. And it's a strategic location. Utah has always been known as the crossroads to the west, and Iron County is within one day truck of here is 48 million people. So as logistics gets more complicated, as costs of trucking go up, proximity to the people you're servicing becomes important. And Cedar City has a great strategic location to be able to serve the West in manufacturing, distribution, and those things. And Cedar City had rail. So Cedar City, Iron County had all the things required to be an industrial hub. And that's what we see a vision for Iron County, is an industrial hub, an industrial powerhouse for southern Utah. And the other thing is those that had come before in Cedar City and Iron County have master planned this area to be just what this park is. So there's infrastructure in place, there's facilities in place to be able to make this happen that was planned before our time. Services that we'll provide here at Commerce Crossroads is this 35-acre transload facility with room for expansion. So we will be able to unload for businesses that have a desire to rail products into this region and into southern Utah. We can provide that service now to those companies that have a desire for that. Along with that, we'll have private rail services that will service individual manufacturing facilities, distribution facilities here in Commerce Crossroads. Commerce Crossroads is an 820-acre master plan development. It will offer 8.5 million square feet of industrial space and about 1 million square feet of office park space and 200 plus multifamily homes when it's completely built out. Visco, so I lead Visco, which is a general contracting arm, so we'll be the preferred builder for Commerce Crossroads. We come with 22 years of experience in commercial construction, done thousands of projects for clients like Walmart, Kroger, Marriott Hotels, Maverick, a whole gamut of companies that we've done work for over the last 20 years, or our leadership team has done work for over the last 20 years. I'm excited for the opportunity this project will bring to Iron County. I grew up, I was born and raised in a small farming community, and I remember as a youth having a desire to be able to stay at home and live close to home and be able to provide a living for my family. And I see this project, and now I actually should say it, that I have 5 of my own children. I desire the same thing for them, that if they choose to want to live close to home, that they have an opportunity to do so. And I see this project as providing that to Iron County. It will provide high growth and high value opportunities for employment for those that have a desire to stay right here in Iron County and not have to leave this region. So we at BZI, we could have solved our problem. We could have waited and found our 40 acres on the rail. But to do something larger and more meaningful for the community, it takes more than just us. It takes a lot of risk, a lot of work, sound economic policy, and a vision for what could be. And I want to echo what James said for the community leaders, the Iron County people that have created this vision and have supported this project and have gotten on board with what could be here in Iron County. I also want to express appreciation to Danny Stewart. We're going to hear from Danny. Danny started pushing this rock up the hill long before I got involved. I'm somewhat receiving the benefit of the fruits of his labors, but he definitely has been instrumental in this project and in transload coming back to this region. I want to thank Reed Erickson, the Iron County Planning and Development. They've been instrumental in helping this project move forward. Platt & Platt is the civil engineer for this project. They've been fantastic to work with. Union Pacific has been a great partner to make this project happen. Mountain States Construction, who did all the rail construction out here. We've had Sunrock Corporation has been part of this project, as well as Precision Excavating. And we are partnered with AE Urbia. You've seen our office plan that's going to be coming next year. And we have partnered with AE Urbia on those designs. So I just want to appreciate all those that have helped to make this vision happen, helped to make today happen. This is the beginning of a long road that we're going to be traveling, but it's a great way to start. And I just want to say I appreciate everybody being here.
Wow, I didn't realize there were so many people here. Welcome. So thankful to have all of you here in this beautiful rainy weather. When I was driving out this morning for about 5 minutes, there was a rainbow just out over this area, and I thought that was very appropriate and very fitting for what's going on this morning. This is very important to our community. Just a couple months ago, the residents here in Cedar City, Iron County, we spent an entire week celebrating what happened here in our valley a century ago. June of 1923, this rail spur came to Cedar City. And the very first train that came to Cedar City carried President Warren G. Harding. Can you imagine at that time, Cedar City, a couple thousand people opening their arms to the President of the United States on this visionary rail line that's behind us. And since that very first train came to town, the impact of the railroad has been tremendous here in our community. It's helped get our agriculture industries to market. It's helped get our iron industry across the U.S. and across the world. For the past 30 years or so, we've had companies building along this rail. We have just over a dozen companies that are directly connected to this rail, and they receive raw materials. It works perfectly for them. As Ryan mentioned, they're within a day's trucking of the western U.S.'s major markets, and that one day's trucking is so significant and so valuable to us. And we've had leadership for a long, long time recognizing the benefits of our location, the tremendous benefits of this rail, being located on Interstate 15, having a regional airport, a university, a tech college, all of the pieces in place for success and for our future. A few years ago when I first met James, and he and his team came looking for a solution to get steel delivered by rail it was an interesting story. They weren't the first. I've talked to hundreds of companies that need access to the rail just to get products on or off to help their businesses grow. And in the few minutes that you've been here, you can see the vision of James and his team. They don't just talk about stuff, they get things done, and they get things done quickly, and they get things done right. To me, that rainbow this morning, the timing of that, it made me think of how fortunate the timing of our conversation with BZI and the timing that we've had working with the Utah Inland Port Authority for several years, and the timing of Cedar City, Iron County leaders for decades putting in infrastructure to make this an industrial area, zoning it for industrial, and planning for the things that are happening out here now. If you look just right over here at this beautiful blue roof, 275,000 square foot manufacturing building, we had the ribbon cutting for that just a couple of weeks ago. And those companies just keep following the rail out here, and we look forward to seeing more of those buildings dotting this entire valley, this Commerce Crossroads. Anyway, so excited to welcome you today. You're a part of history today. You're as much a part of history as those people 100 years ago that gathered in the park in Cedar City to meet the President of the United States. And I hope you remember that you were here for a very important thing. This launches the next 100 years of our economic future that's bringing opportunity to families to be able to stay here. For a long, long time, we've been educating people and exporting them. We're going to provide more opportunities for those folks to stay here in this place that we all live. Anyway, thanks to all of you. Thanks for everyone's hard work and collaboration. Just grateful for this beautiful day and this wonderful event. Thanks again.
Thank you. It is an honor to be with you today, and rain, I was going to say rain notwithstanding, but rain included. It just makes this day even better if that's possible. James, thank you for your vision. Thank you for all that you're doing to improve this entire region. I was looking around and just thinking about the vistas and the views that you're going to have when this is all built out and that we're experiencing today. The only thing that can make this better is an opportunity for people who have economic opportunity and have a chance to change lives. So James, thank you for your vision. Danny, you've been working on this forever. I think if somebody were really smart, they might hire Danny and have him come join their organization. And so if you have not heard, Danny is joining us at the Utah Inland Port Authority, and we are ecstatic. We could not have somebody better joining our team than Mr. Stewart. I promise he is going to stay here in the region, and we want to be as much a partner as is possible, which kind of brings me what I wanted to address with my remarks. You know, there's reasons to cite today as historic for a number of reasons. I think when we talk about not just the historic nature of this year, 1923 to 2023, but there's other things that I think are historic as well. I'm good. Yes, I'm fine. Thank you, though. I don't know if the governor's going to want an umbrella or not, so yeah, he's saying no. But thank you. I appreciate that. I love the rain. I don't. Maybe it's just me. But anyway, what we're seeing here today is historic for a number of reasons. There's a lot of people that said the Inland Port Authority was never going to work. And there's a lot of people who felt like whether it was the way that it was created or how it first started, that it was never going to be able to support the vision of the communities and the businesses that we need to support and that we're helping to support and to sustain. And, you know, for us here in 2023, with where we've taken the inland port, we feel like we're going in the right direction. The last time this state had a really significant economic evolution to its strategy for how we're going to create economic opportunity was really back in 2005, about almost 20 years ago now. And the focus was really designed to how do we better market the state? How do we make sure that we've got the right incentives to lure companies to come in? And it was all outward facing. But here in 2023, we've hit another very important evolution. And I want to give a huge shout out to Governor Cox, because when I worked in his office, he impressed this on us. It was, we don't focus on outside first, we focus on supporting the state first and our communities first. I also want to give Senator Vickers and Representative Shipp and the Utah State Legislature a huge shout out as well. It was their vision that reshaped this office, our Inland Port Authority, to really focus and harness the energy that was developing at local levels. So what we see now, instead of that focus just on the outward, the outside, we see this support and work and collaboration to support the vision at the local level for those who really want to make their communities better. This is not always easily done. Government doesn't always get along. Usually when you get, different levels of government working together, quote unquote, it ends in a lawsuit or people are upset. And I think there were a lot of people who expected the inland port to end in a lawsuit on the dusty floor of the Northwest Quadrant in Salt Lake City. But that's not the case. We're alive and we're better than and we're stronger than we've ever been because of this community, because this community can work together to overcome any obstacles, to partner together with the private sector and ensure that we're creating jobs and economic opportunity and economic growth for its citizens. When we work together, even across a legal structure, across resources and financial structures, and we can say we're all going to put our names and titles on the table and we're truly going to do what's best for the community, then we have a powerful economic strategy. And that's the evolution we're seeing here in 2023. It's what we've been missing for the last 20 plus years here in the state of Utah. It's that focus on working together. They're trusting each other and being able to collaborate together. When we do that, then we can create focus areas of generational economic strength. And when we focus together, then we can create and support and develop areas like this that is going to employ thousands of Utahns for decades to come. This is what we need more of in the state of Utah, this collaboration. I also want to touch on the importance of infrastructure as well, specifically the rail. A couple of months ago, I had a chance to go to Germany. I probably shouldn't mention this, but it was a governor's trade mission, so I will. But we took a couple of folks from BZI Still with us, James and Guy, and we learned a lot about BZI Still. We learned a lot about what was happening here in the community. A rail system that has completely transformed the nation. And Germany is stronger because they've been able to really harness the power of rail, both passenger and cargo in their country. What we saw there, I believe we can start to see here as well, where we're becoming more efficient with how we use our resources. We're more efficient with our infrastructure. We're partnering better together with companies like Union Pacific, BZI, RailSync. We're having community support. That type of collaboration does not happen very often. I think it's more important than the president even coming to visit this community. I think what we're seeing here today and what we're witnessing is not only a model for the state of Utah, but it's a model for the country. And I hope we don't take that for granted, because what we're seeing here today and what we're witnessing here today will be the most important economic initiative in the southwest part of the state for generations to come. I'm confident that's the case because I see us all working together. And that's what makes this community special. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's so great to be here with you on this beautiful October morning. It doesn't feel like mid-August, but here we are, and we are so blessed to have this rain and to be in this beautiful place. It's just breathtaking. It's breathtaking to see all of this, and it's even more breathtaking to see all of you. James, congratulations to you and your team. Ryan and Danny and Ben, thank you for your inspiring words today. Mayor, county commissioners, and members of the legislature, this is God's country, and you can feel it on a morning like this. We feel it. This is such a special place that all three of my sons chose to come here, and my two daughters-in-law, my two new daughters-in-law, to have 5 kids that are attending or have attended school here. We have come to love this place as if it was our home, and you've accepted us that way, and we are so grateful for that. Now, as I look at what's happening here, and I visited BZI a couple of years ago for the first time and saw what was happening there, was blown away, told everybody I could about this amazing thing that was happening, and then to see the plans for this place, and now to see it actually happening. I'm not sure, even though everybody said it, I'm not sure any of us fully appreciate the impact that this day will have on the future here. As I try to see in my mind's eye what this will look like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, and the change that is coming here, the positive change, because you're doing it the right way. Now, as Ben mentioned, when I had the opportunity to become governor, I made a promise that we would focus on rural Utah. Now, lots of governors have done that, and they've all said that, and they've all tried for sure. But I just felt like we were at this critical point in time where Utah had been successful. We weren't the same state that we were 10 years ago. We'd had economic success, and yet our emphasis was still on the Wasatch Front. We were still incentivizing businesses to come from out of state to locate on the Wasatch Front. And that just didn't make sense to me as we were seeing so much growth there. And this idea, my dad always said, and Danny mentioned it, he said in Sanpete County where I grew up, he said our best crop are our kids, and sadly it's also our best export. And he said we're so tired of exporting our kids who want to live here. And I hated that. I had to move away. I was one of the lucky ones, though. I got to move back and raise my family. But I just had my 30-year class reunion on Saturday. It feels crazy to think it's been 30 years. And as I looked around that room, we were a small class, just over 100 kids in my class, and about 50 of them were there. They actually came to the governor's mansion to have our reunion. And only a small handful of them were still living in Sanpete County or were able to move back to Sanpete County. And so many of them wanted to, but just never got that opportunity. And that was just unacceptable to me. And so I'm really proud to let you know that there have been some big changes. We have moved over 500 state jobs off the Wasatch Front into rural Utah. But more importantly than that, the private sector has responded. We worked together with the legislature in 2001 to pass what was called the Red TIF. It's a rural incentive for business expansion. And here's the crazy thing, you guys. I'm so excited to share this. In fiscal year 2023, we've had over $1.2 billion in investment off the Wasatch Front. Now, that may not mean anything to you, but let me put it into perspective. In the 5 years before I became governor, from 2017 to 2021, we only had $500 million in projects. So we went from $500 million in projects in 5 years to $1.2 billion in projects in 1 year. That's what's happening in rural Utah. Over 10,000 jobs off the Wasatch Front just in the last 2 years because of these infrastructure projects that are happening. And it's not hyperbole to say that this project right here is one of the most important infrastructure projects in rural Utah in my lifetime. I sincerely believe that. And that the impact is going to be felt for generations. I'm excited. I'm a student of history. And of course, we celebrated just a few years ago the 150th anniversary of the driving of the Goldie Spike when the rails were joined together, and how that changed the economic future of our country, right? And this railroad was a symbol of prosperity. Anywhere the railroad went, where there was a depot, that meant that you had a chance to succeed. And yet we kind of got away from that as a state and as a country. And I'm grateful to see it coming back because it's an unbelievable asset. An asset that will again help us and you may not think this way, but I know BZI is thinking this way, as we start to think globally and what's happening across the world. What is happening in China and Russia right now is critical to this rail spur. Okay? And what I mean by that is we realized during the pandemic, and of course with what is happening especially in China, that we can't outsource our manufacturing forever. That is not good for our people. It's not good for our citizens. It's not good for our country. It's not good for global security. That we need to bring more of that manufacturing back here, and that is what is happening. As I meet with businesses across the state, they want to do more manufacturing here, and we are starting to see those numbers climb. Problem is we don't have the right mix in the right places. Well, you have the right mix in the right place right here. You have, as Danny mentioned, you have, and Ryan mentioned this too. You check all the boxes. You have all the ingredients that are necessary to have the kind of growth, the smart kind of growth that will mean that no kid who is born and grows up in Iron County will ever have to leave Iron County if they don't want to. You get to do that, and that's really special. And it's because you all worked together for many years to put those pieces together. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for making Utah such a special place. Thank you for making Iron County, God's country, the best place in the world. Congratulations.
All right, everybody. So here's the big moment. This is the funnest part of the whole morning. So we're going to do a few things. I've got a few things to trigger. We practiced this a few times, so hopefully it all comes off. Our rails are a little wet, but we'll just kind of see. We were wet last night, but here we go. So our stage crew, you guys come up. Our ribbon ceremony people who have been invited to come, please come up front and cue the music. Just before you start that music, though, I want everybody to know there's a special song that we're going to play here for you, and if you don't recognize it, I'm going to tell you what it is right now. It's called Utah, This Is the Place. And we made a special score out of this. So, okay, here we go. Let's move the stage and let's make it happen. Right here in the center. This is our mark. This comes out. There we go. Will you take that away from me? Okay. So we've got you. Got Mayor. You're right on the other side of the. Yep, you're over there. We got you. That's right. Perfect. And you have to hold up the ribbon. Okay. I'll get our flyby. Got some snow. Yeah. We may have to push the train. Spit. All right, here comes the train, you guys. We had exactly 3 minutes and 45 seconds to get the train here because that's how long the song is. So, it's coming now. And we got Dawn flying over for us, blowing smoke. So if you can't see it, you might want to come out of the tent a little bit. This is your moment to get your photos, everybody. Give us some horn. Give us some horn. Sterling. There we go. Now if we can get 750,000 pounds to stop, that'll be good too. Nice. All right, you ready, Dallas? We made it. Yeah. All right. So I just want to make sure that my photographer, that he's ready. You good, Dallas? All right. Mr. Governor, let's open Rail Sync officially. Here we go. Woo! Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. All right, everybody. So before everybody disperses, make sure you come and get up here by the rails, take some photos with everybody. We actually have a guided tour starting at 11 o'clock. It will start over at Steel Tech. There's a map right on your program. You just have to scan the QR code. I will actually start that tour at 11 at Steel Tech, and we'll go from Steel Tech to Innovatech and back into town. So anybody who wants to join us is welcome. We will begin promptly at 11 over at Steel Tech Academy. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming. We appreciate you, and have a beautiful day.